What's up, everybody? Welcome back. So today I've got Ryan, Lindsay, and Gwendolyn with me. What's up, guys? Good to see you.
How you doing?
Always.
So we're going to talk today about a really important topic. Maybe a few topics are going to get covered, but I think the general theme here is going to be reinventing the wheel. And it's something that we have all seen individually and as a group, as a collective in our community over and over and over again. We've seen this so often when new traders come in and they almost don't want to take what's given to them, meaning they don't want to take the experience and the work that other traders have put in and run with it. They almost want to backtrack, reinvent it themselves for whatever reason. And I kind of want to maybe just conversate about that and talk about why we think people even act that way. But Gwendolyn, I know this was kind of your idea and your concept for us to make a video about, because you have seen some people recently struggling with this. Is that correct?
Yeah, so it's like, it's also something that I struggled with because I was coming in from a different trading educational group. And, one thing that they say all the time is like, don't mix systems, you just want to focus on one thing, get good at one thing, and then like incorporate other things. And so I just, we've had an influx of new traders coming into the system, and, sometimes they take to the system, they really stick to the rules, and other times, you can kind of see them trying to incorporate their old habits and their old ideas and observations into the ASFX system. And I think it's just a little too early. And you want to start off modeling the success of, the traders that are doing well, modeling the success of the system as it's presented. And then after that, when you understand it better, then you can start to tweak and refine it for yourself.
Why do you think that is? Do any of you guys have an idea of why that would be? Why do you think people, like I said before, almost don't take what work and what expertise was already put in front of them and they want to backtrack? Like, for example, the one guy who I'm thinking about wants to go to the 5-minute chart and test the strategy there, which is fine. And I'm never going to tell anybody don't do anything, do whatever you want. But my question to him was, for what? That's what I said. I was like, for what? Don't take it the wrong way, but what are you doing that for when that isn't part of what's already tested? We're using the 15-minute and the 1-minute a lot more. So why are you going to the 5 at all? Like, why not just stick to what's working? Yeah. What is that? Where's that blockage?
I still would say it can come with the ego of wanting to be right, and they can see that, yes, what, like in the beginner system, for like when they first come in, we do use the 5-minute, and whether they think they can still incorporate that as some analysts would do, into that setup, then that's okay. But at the same time, when they go into the advanced A1, we don't talk about going into the 5-minute. That was only for the beginners. But that may have worked for them and they had success when they first came in using it that way. So then they just think that they can incorporate it into our A1.
That's an interesting point.
That makes sense. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's an interesting point.
I think that 5-minute is good for those who are starting to get into the whole world of technical analysis, right? Where they're starting to learn how to read charts and that whole movement. But I mean, I've been on a lot of coaching calls, first-time coaching calls with new traders, where they're starting to try to learn the system on the 5-minute, and half of it, I think it's just a lack of patience from waiting 15 minutes between each candle. Not only it getting to the 21 or to the right support zone, but then having to wait another 15 minutes just to see it not work. So they go down to the 5-minute, try to find an idea there and get in early, when in the end it's too much information. And really it's a bad mix of too much and not enough information.
Yeah.
But both of those are really great points. One, like you said, not wanting to be wrong, and then the other one, impatience. I think those are both two
because I think
they
can see people, like, the moves happening on the 5-minute, and maybe when they did first start and they went through the course in the beginning, they saw some success with it. So then they're just thinking, well, I can just kind of add that in.
And that goes, I think it goes
some success.
It goes hand in hand with what Gwendolyn said at the beginning about them taking things that worked at their old education company and then bringing that in. Like, for one of the guys that I know we both spoke to recently, Gwendolyn, he was with a different company and they were big on support and resistance zones. And he's let some of these support and resistance zones from his old trading come in, and he's tried to use them. And it's actually kept him out of some of the winning trades that we've all been in, because we're not even looking at these zones. So it's like a double-edged sword when you start to mix these things together. So what do you guys think keeps people on the straight and narrow? What is it? To me, I definitely think it does go to, like Lindsay said, ego, where they don't want to be wrong, and they also are closed-minded to new ideas, where they think they need to go out and prove themselves to the world. I need to go test it. I need to show that it works, rather than, hey, Austin and Lindsay and Ryan and Gwendolyn and Alex and all these other people have already tried that, and it's not working as well as this. So let me start with what they have, start with the frame, and I can just add rooms to this house, rather than go cut the trees down and start from there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I agree with that, and I think, you know, like that guy I was talking about yesterday, who had created like indicators to tell him when the
just doing too much,
the perfect liquid 50 was, and where the RSI position and things was. I said, if you look around the community, who else is using that, or the people that are having the success, who are they using these indicators? And he's like, no. He said, I just keep saying, why am I doing it? And I think they think that they need to be putting in a wee extra portion of something to find the success, instead of just following the systems and being consistent with what is in the course.
It's weird too, because I think the ego blocks you there from being open-minded. And in the same way, kind of what you mentioned before we started the call, Gwendolyn, about the intimidation, like the ego there makes you feel like you don't want to start, almost because you would be intimidated by the other people that are already successful. So that intimidation can sometimes lead you to going and saying, well, I got to go test this and find my own way, because, you know what I mean, they just almost don't want to accept it, like I said. So for people that maybe are seeing people like you, Lindsay, post their markups every day, or you, Gwendolyn, now doing videos and doing blogs every week, they're looking at that, I think, in a lot of times, and they're like, this is so much, like, I'm new, I can't do what they're doing, and it's intimidating, and then they don't even want to start doing a markup or start going down that path. So when you encounter people in your one-on-ones, what are you guys telling them as far as how to overcome that intimidation aspect of just getting started on that path of growth?
I pretty much kind of say, you know, even when it comes to, say, chart markups, and to see people saying they're doing 50 to 100 chart markups, I'll say, right, that fears them, because they're like, where do I even start here? And I'll say, well, why don't you just this week say, I'm going to do between 3 and 5. And as you're sitting at your trading desk and you're seeing opportunities set up, start doing your markup. Do your markup on it. You don't have to leave it until the end of your trading session. You can be doing it, and that's you just starting to see the live results coming, the opportunities coming, and you could be starting to do your markups. Start with 3 or 5 that week, and then build from there as the more you're getting confident doing them. I said the same when you're sharing them. Just start. Just share 1 a week in Facebook, and then you'll see people giving you feedback. Build your confidence. You'll say, okay, I'm going to do 2 next week. I'm going to do 3 next week, and it's taking these small steps into bigger steps.
And that's it, right? It's that simple.
It's that simple.
What were you going to say, Gwendolyn? It sounded like you had something to say.
Yeah, like literally the words right out of my mouth, dude. Just like start off with 1 or 2. Like, yeah, you're not gonna be like Jason Dennis doing 100 freaking markups. Like, that's great. They've built to that. Like, they didn't start off. They didn't come into ASFX like, oh, I'm gonna do 100 markups this week. Like, no, it starts off with just a few, and then you build, and maybe you find a skill. You find like maybe when you put your headphones on, you get lost in your markups, and maybe you can find a flow with your markups, and that's how you can build and like start to increase, you know, and build into these habits, these like grander habits almost. You know, you don't have to start off running 100 miles an hour, bro. Like, the car doesn't go that fast. You accelerate it, you know?
Yeah. I think perspective on it always matters the most, right? So if you have the perspective of, oh my God, they're doing so much. Oh my God, I can't keep up with those markups. Oh my God, I'm never going to be able to. If you have that perspective on it, then I think it's just always going to be an uphill battle for you. Whereas if you look at it like, wow, Austin's just a college dropout. He's a regular guy. Lindsay's a stay-at-home mom. Like, these are regular people. They're doing it, so why can't I? Right? So it's almost like the perspective, which comes from within. Like, I can't control how people view the world, but I can control to some extent the community that we build and the people that we allow to join our community and become leaders in the group, because then that culture kind of stems down, and then that perspective hopefully can be shared with those people to have them seeing, hey, I'm no one special, I'm nobody different than anybody else in the group, really. So if I can do it, so can you. And that should be more motivating, I feel like, than defeating, so that's just a different way of looking at it that can then still put you in the right frame of mind to get it done, to take that first step, to get that first markup posted. And I don't think anybody should ever be scared of, like you said, being wrong. Why would you not share a markup? Why would you not ask a question? Why would you not put yourself, because you're scared of being wrong. You're scared of what people are going to say if what you say is wrong.
Yeah.
That holds us back in trading, in life, from so many things. What's the worst that happens? That's what I always say.
Yeah,
Like, when you have to make that phone call that you don't want to make, what's the worst that happens? They say no. Okay, at least then you got the verification that it's a no, not just assuming.
Yeah.
The same way with your markups. Yeah.
The guy I just came off the call with, he was like, I don't really understand structure when we talk about structure in the 1 minute. And I was like, see, when you're you ask that question then when you're in the chat, but he said, I'll look stupid. I said, you won't look stupid. I said, but if you keep going on not understanding structure, I said, you're never going to get it. Right. I said, so just ask the question. I said, and then hopefully somebody will be able to explain it the way you want it to be explained to you.
Well, it goes a step further. You build bad habits if you don't even ask the question.
If you don't ask,
go about, you're going to do the wrong thing and you're going to build a bad habit. That's worse. That's stupid, if anything, right?
Yep.
How about maybe the traders that are really trying, but then they end up getting distracted by the ones in the chat who are starting to mix ideas?
Yeah.
You guys get that a lot?
Yeah.
Of course. Because the chat can be distracting, especially for newer people. And then it's funny because you see the transition as they get better at trading. They're less active in the chat for the most part. A lot of the best traders in the group are not that active in the chat,
Yeah, because lately we've seen a couple people that are starting to mix ideas, and they get, and it might be working out for them, maybe because they have more market experience. And then I'll get messages like, dude, like I was, I had my watch list, and then the chat was looking at other pairs, and then I got distracted and started doubting myself, and then all my ideas worked, and then when you got distracted, they weren't. And I think that's an important piece of that, right? To not reinvent the wheel, is you got to make sure that you have, what are those things that horses have?
Horse blinders.
The blinders. Yeah, the blinders. Yeah. Such a simple term. The blinders. And then little by little, they can start opening up the blinders, see more. But at first, stick with the checklist. I always tell them, just print it out, stick to it, because in reality, you don't need much else. No. Just follow the checklist, it'll all be fine. And then you can open it up.
Yeah, I think that's what happens as well, Ryan. They come in. I know when I came in, I very much was perfect liquid 50s, EMAs, off the 50. And you stick to that until you build your confidence and it going well for you. And then I say at that point, when you're feeling it's going well for you and you see somebody else doing something that, is working, make sure they have had the experience and they're having success with it before you try and do it.
Right.
Yeah, you make sure that it works first before you put in your money out there.
Yeah.
And I think back to your point, Ryan, about people getting distracted. I think the harder part is like they lack confidence especially in the beginning, whether they're struggling before they come to ASFX or if they're just starting, they lack confidence to see an idea through. I think it's because of people just not understanding what it means to see an idea through, whether that's because they don't know, or even after that, if they do know, then they don't want to be wrong. So they abandon the idea. Whereas like you said, you should really stick to the checklist and see the idea through. That's going to build your own confidence to then continue to be self-sufficient, which is always the goal. The goal is always to be I'm making my own decisions. I'm putting my own money on the line. I'm the one pulling the trigger. I have the knowledge. So if that is the goal, then I think like you said, you have to stick to the checklist and see the idea through all the way to then be able to get feedback correctly, be able to adjust. And then, hey, if you weren't in the right idea today, accept it. You're a human being. You're going to be right every day? No. See what you could do better to get on the right idea. Not, oh, quick, they're all in the other idea and that might be the right idea. Drop all of the work I just did on this pair and let me go jump over here and throw the money here. That just doesn't make, sense for the long term, I think. At least that's what I've seen in the guys that are the most successful.
Yeah, especially when they do that and then it's like, hey, Austin, are you in this trade?
Oh, my God, bro. They always come after me. They want to know if I'm in the trade, and I just don't even answer them anymore. You know what I mean? Because I want people to make their own decision for themselves.
You asked me that yesterday. I was like, dude, I thought we already said we're not asking that question anymore.
But no. In all seriousness, I think the culture that, and like this is from Gwendolyn's notes, like the culture that we as the leaders of the group, that we can stem down to the rest of the group is really important. Not just about being selective with your trades, not just about like how you're analyzing your charts, but also to say, hey, if you know you're doing something well, whether you're new, struggling, or like I said, one of us, keep doing it. Don't reinvent the wheel. Find what works. Find that thing that you trade the best. Find that strategy that works the best for you, your favorite trade, your favorite entry, and stick to it. Work it well. Don't come to, like, that's, I think, the idea of being that person that comes to the market looking to reinvent the wheel, that comes from like a cynical place. Like, it's like, why are you looking to, again, fix what's already not broken?
Yeah.
Why can't you just accept that someone already did the work to give you the knowledge to get to this point?
If that's the case, then why did you buy the course? You're better off just trying to figure it out on your own. 18 months, 2 years, trying to find, build your own strategy.
Correct.
God, I get a bunch of those. It's just, well, I don't want to spend money with the course. I'm just trying to build my own strategy and figure it out for myself. Well, then.
Yeah, that's what I
Good
say.
luck.
Good luck.
Good luck. Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.
So for someone that's listening that maybe isn't with us yet, isn't trading with us, what would be the advice that you would give to them if they're just searching for a system, just trying to stay in their own lane, so to speak, with the blinders on? Do you have any advice that you're giving to the guys that you talk to?
I kind of tell them, because they would ask, I get a lot of, well, why did you go to ASFX? And I just basically say it's because I was a day trader before, and the strategies that you used, the breakouts and the pullbacks, was very similar to how I traded. So I was looking for a system to how I traded. I didn't want to reinvent that wheel of learning something new when I had an understanding of it. So I think you've got to go with what your kind of ideal trading style is, and find somebody to fit you then.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I think it's best to just not fight the algorithms and the computers, and that's why I think we have a good thing going with our system, is that we have all these indicators that work for us, right? They put the equations in themselves. We're not susceptible to that human, and I say that a lot, that we're not susceptible to that human error, because most of it is already drawn out for us by computers.
Sure.
So you can try to call reversals all you want.
Just stick with the trend. Right. I know exactly what you're saying. Right.
Yeah. Even with the D2s, right, which is part of our system, but still, you're trying to call the top with the details. Like, in reality, you don't need it. I just think it's good to know when you're getting conflicting signals.
Right. No, absolutely.
But regardless, it's good to just stick with the plan, have as much probabilities in your favor as possible. And I think the indicators do that for us, versus the algorithms that are trading millions of dollars.
But I like what you said there too, just because, like you said, you don't need to try to call the top, try to call the bottom. Stick with what the math is already being put into these indicators and what it's telling you. Stick with that trend that's painting for you. You don't have to be like these guys that for some reason don't believe in indicators and they just try to guess the direction every day. It's crazy,
Get the wick and
right. Cool. Well, this was good, guys. I think people will definitely find some value here. Gee, I'm glad that you brought this to the surface. And I'm appreciative also of you, Lindsay, and Ryan, for giving us the time. I think everybody on YouTube is always grateful when we come together to bring some knowledge for them. So for people watching and listening, make sure you guys drop a comment or reach out to us on social media. You guys know where to get us. Let us know what you think. Let us know if there's any other topics you'd like us to cover in the future. And I think we'll call it here, family. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Time to go back to sleep.